है वहाँ पे एडजस्ट कर देंगे थंबनेल बनाते टाइम.
Oh, I see. That's a great idea.
See, I told you the chief would agree.
Well, let's get moving then. We can't let a word of this slip to any—
Hey, Amina, Hikaru, Marukow. You three seem particularly cheerful today. What's the occasion?
Oh, Mualani, you're back. Who are these two?
This is the
FNC
Traveler
भी
and
एक Pokemon
Paimon,
है.
two very important guests. I wanted to take them to the natural hot springs, but Auntie Atea caught us, so we had to come here first.
Oh, what a coincidence.
We think Auntie Atea's illness has taken a turn.
Really? How can you
Okay, so while you've been busy with the pilgrimage, we noticed that she's been visiting the specifically the hot springs in the cave to the north of our settlement. I'm sure you know the one. Apparently, she used to go there a lot, but she could never come into contact with hot water before, and now she's visiting the hot springs every night. I mean,
Yeah, so we got to thinking, what if we renovated the abandoned spring behind her back, then threw her? Chief Amina thinks it's a great idea too.
Of course. How could you? I'm a little busy right now, though.
Of course. Take your time. You should focus on these artificial springs are pretty new, but the experience is just as good as the natural ones if you ask me. We really worked hard on them, so I hope you enjoy. And you two, I know you want to focus on Atea's surprise, but don't forget your patrol duties.
you got it, Chief. We'll keep an eye out. You can count.
All right, we're off then. See you at the abandoned spring, Mualani.
I'm also
You
gonna
know
head
me
out.
koi
Have
why?
fun.
Finally, it's hot spring time. Oh, I already arranged swimwear for you guys, by the way. Come on.
Don't tell me ये swimwear में change करा देंगे.
So, what do you think?
What are
Can you
these
feel the warmth
voices?
relax every muscle in your body?
Yeah, it's so nice. The steam is warm too.
The first time I came to the hot springs, there was no calming effect whatsoever. I was such a little
Why are you
ball of
sending
energy.
pom-pom
The
girls
moment my
on
parents
Insta?
stepped away, I ran off to the high
I'm not
temperature
sending
pools.
anything.
It was actually pretty funny looking back on it. They were absolutely frantic, looking for me all over, until finally they saw my head slowly poke out from under the water. I was too young to remember the whole ordeal, but my
Man,
parents told me all
Japanese was
about it.
got some
A
dumb.
natural-born swimmer, my mother called me. Just like her, I taught myself how to dive underwater the first time I ever went. So feel free to go for a swim. I'll be right here if you need rescuing.
Okay, here goes nothing.
Auntie Atea, you really came to check on us?
Of course. And I'm glad you listened. I brought you all some milk and snacks as well. I'll just leave them here. The temperature in the artificial springs isn't too high, so I went with Saurus crackers and grain fruit chips.
Oh, thank you.
Well, I did make them myself. Very few young people know how to truly appreciate hot springs, so listen carefully. The temperature of the hot spring not only determines the type
Hot
of snacks
spring?
you should choose,
Hey,
but also the
damn.
amount of time you should spend in
They
the
are
water.
having fun.
To bathe in a hot spring is to completely...
Hey!
All right, looks like you were able to adapt to the temperature, no problem. You should be able to switch to... Well, I've got to get going. Oh, and make sure you drink your milk. I'm looking at... That better not
ईथर को
happen
पहनाया
again.
गया है
Either
और
I'm
पाइमन
going
को
to
देखो
catch you
क्या
or
पहनाया है
not.
इन्होंने.
Okay.
Paimon didn't think you were the type to do something like that.
I remember thinking I'd totally get away with it too. But turns out milk is pretty easy to spot when you pour it into clear water.
What the fuck?
Now,
Sounds sus.
Some people get dizzy if they stay in here too long.
Paimon's fine, just a bit.
Looks like you two are naturals. Oh, by the way, I have to leave you on your own for a little while this afternoon. I'm gonna help the others fix up and certainly don't trust their aesthetic tastes. Who knows what will become of the
मेरी
place
लाइट
if
जा
I
रही
leave them
बार-बार.
unattended.
संदेश
In
भाई का
exchange,
अलग
though,
दुख
I
है.
can recommend a couple of shops that are worth a visit. Huh?
Yeah, she brought us snacks and taught us about the hot springs. We want to do our part too. Friends are supposed to help each other out. We'd feel bad otherwise.
Well then, the more the merrier. All right, we should get going. Let's organize the best hot spring gathering Natland's ever seen.